Hi, everyone. My name is Abhay Bhargav, and I am the founder and chief research officer of AppSecEngineer. Now, one of the big challenges that I'm sure many of you would have seen, especially in the world of IT and IT security, is that there are not enough security folks or qualified security folks to take on major security implementation. If your organization is moving to the cloud, or if you're doing a Kubernetes transformation or anything like that, security is going to be first thing on your mind. And unfortunately, there's just not that many people out there who are trained on security. At AppSec Engineer, it's our mission to solve the skills gap on application security. And we do this by delivering a world-class training platform on AppSec, cloud security, Kubernetes security, threat modeling, and so on and so forth. One of the things that we do at AppSec Engineer is that we allow our students to log onto the platform and use our labs and use a whole bunch of capabilities in terms of learning tools like videos and labs and challenges that they can use to actually learn all of these concepts and get better at their jobs, or even get another job that gives them a huge payback. Now, with AppSec engineers, many of our clients are enterprise clients. These are clients that have tens of thousands of users that they want equipped and trained on application security or any of these allied concepts. And one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest asks for any of these clients, is monitoring. They want to know whether their people have actually been learning. What is the skill level within their organization? What is the kind of people who are not doing any kind of training? They want to know whether people are engaging with the training or not. And that required us to implement a very, very sound and robust analytics stack. Now, just a little bit about our stack. We are a very, very serverless friendly tech stack. So the first thing that we do when we ask ourselves when we're evaluating any kind of solution is that, first of all, is it a scalable solution? Can it meet the demands of hundreds of thousands of people, even if it's concurrent? So first thing is scalability. The second thing is it maintainable with the smallest possible team size? We're a small company, and we don't want solutions that are hard to maintain. Things like sharding and managing servers and things like that are very difficult for us. So we went serverless first, right from the beginning. So we were kind of born into this cloud serverless world. And the third thing, is it malleable? Can we use this for our expanding and evolving use cases as things change, as customers scale, and so on and so forth? This was the third facet of what we were looking at. And we are entirely on AWS with a few other clouds added in for labs and so on. Now, what we do there is we use AWS Lambda, which is a serverless computing platform. We use AWS DynamoDB as our primary database. Now, DynamoDB is great, but one of the problems that we quickly ran into as our user base expanded and as customers had all of these different demands of analytics and so on, was that DynamoDB was great for transactions, but it was absolutely not working for us from an analytics standpoint. No matter what kind of optimizations we did, DynamoDB did not help us from that standpoint, because aggregations were difficult. Doing all kinds of analytics and querying on different types of attributes became more and more difficult. That's when we came across Macrometa. And Macrometa was really powerful for us in multiple ways. First of all, it was scalable, it was serverless, it made sure that our maintainability angle became much easier to work with. It was at the edge, so the speed was phenomenal. We saw some massive speed gains even when we were experimenting with the database. The third thing is Macrometa has a whole bevy of different database offerings that it can give us. It has the document mode, it has the key value mode, it has the graph, it has the full text search, and it also has a dynamo mode, which actually attracted to us in the beginning. But we actually looked at, of course, different offerings that Macrometa had to offer. So the first thing we did was started to put a few non-critical workloads on Macrometa, and we started to see huge speed gains in terms of how we could do analytics. So we kind of mapped out in our heads that this is what we could use to actually scale our analytics infrastructure, right? Every single time a user does something on our platform, we need to stream it to a database. We need to stream it as an analytics event. And we started doing this with Macrometa and immediately started seeing a pretty huge speed bump, right? And the cool thing with Macrometa is that we've leveraged to the hilt is query workers, where you can just write a stored procedure, if you will, and expose that as a REST API. That makes things so much easier for us because we don't have to write complex business logic in our actual code base, but just call a particular query worker by name, pass it the right parameters, and voila, you get the response. Now that became really, really powerful for us, and we were able to do extremely complex aggregations on top of Macrometa to be able to serve the analytics needs of our customers. In fact, just last week, we had a customer who said that, look, your analytics is great, but I want this one dimension. You don't seem to have it. Within 2 days, we were able to add that dimension. So he wanted a skills dimension added to it. And we were able to add that dimension simply because we had the data. All we had to do is create the query workers. Once we compose the query worker, we were up and running, and that customer had that additional dimension added to their analytics like this. So Macrometa for us has been a game changer, and it's going to continue to serve us because we're planning to go all in on it in terms of multiple aspects of it and the different services they offer. So we are looking to see a pretty big growth with our own stack with Macrometa. So I'm sure it's going to help us grow, and I'm sure we'll help it grow as well. So we're really looking forward to that relationship with Macrometa, and I really thank them for doing what they've done to help us out in a very serious way.